Hello everyone and welcome back to the Mixed Reality Engineer. In this video, we are going to explore the Meta's new XR documentation. So any of you who might have seen the Meta Connect this year, you might have heard that the Meta XR documentation is newly upgraded and it's now much better than what it previously used to be. So let's explore what they have built. So as you can see, this is a completely new homepage that they have built, which is for Meta Horizon, because now the Oculus Store, which was previously the Meta Store, it's now the Meta Horizon Store, and now the OS itself is called as the Meta Horizon OS. So Meta Horizon is basically the core platform for which you will be building. So let's see what's there in this. So if you see, this is divided into some key sections, which is design, developed, the API references, and distribute. So what I want to say is, the previously also it was in a similar manner, I would say, like there were similar sections, but it was not very easy to accessible. Means there were just a few links and it was very hard to navigate through or find some specific classes for you which you want to know more, like, or which you wanted to implement in your application. But now, as we will move ahead, you will understand how easy it is now. So let's start with this why mixed reality. So if you see, these are like just a basic introduction. I'm not going to take a lot more time here, but if you see, if you just click platform and tools, they have given everything on a single page. You don't need to navigate anywhere else. So one by one, they have explored like what different platforms you can build for, what are the various games which are available on Meta Horizon OS, and what are the various tools you will require. So like the Oculus MetaQuest Developer Hub, which is the central tool for developers to build their applications or put it on the Horizon OS, or App Lab, which was previously it was called, and also the Oculus Store or the Meta Store, and now which is the Meta Horizon Store. So, and you can go from here, but I would recommend just get familiarized with how the structure is, because when you start building your application, it will be very useful to understand where you have to go and find some information. So each of their tools now, they have given like specific spaces here. Like if you go to immersive debugger, this will open the immersive debugger page and it will directly navigate you to this. But now we have directly jumped into the documentation. But let's go back one more time, and let's see the other things which they have provided in this. So if you see what various devices are available, and if you want to know more about the devices, you can go from here. But now I know most of you will be developers who will be watching this, so we'll go back to what are the developer programs which are available. So Meta Horizon Start, which is the program for getting some initial help if you want to build if you're building a Meta application and if it has a good promise, you can also apply from here. So you will get what are the various programs that Meta is running for developers. So you'll get the information here. So now let's go to the design. So now from here, you will see the various aspects of the documentation. So on the left sidebar, you will have a search bar where you can search some information, what you want, and then you will have the entire, what we can say, the tree structure to find what you want. Like let's say if I want to develop for the hands, so what are the best practices for developing for hand tracking in your application? So you will get everything here. You will get the details about what they call, the terminologies they call for each of the hands, and each of the fingers, each of the tips, and each of the bones, and everything you'll find here. Then how it works, how the hand tracking algorithm works. So and now it's now very clean and easy to understand. So if you go now, let's say if you want to search something, let's search something. So I want to search like how to have some, let's say I want to know more about the pinch gesture. So let's see if I can get something. No, it's not that searching. Oh, okay. But now let's see if I want to have something related to interactions, hand interactions or control interactions. So if you see, you can see where the interactions are. Okay, it's with the hands or the controllers, or even the voice. So all are these part of interactions. So you can see this interaction model and the information about it. Okay, so this was all about the design part. So in the design part, it's like they have what we can say structured it into various bits, like about the interactions that you will be having, and again, so the foundations, interactions, and the components, basically how you can develop your app, how you can structure the UI. So everything you'll find here. Moving on to the develop section. So here is what we can say the key part of the documentation that most of us need every time when we are building the application. So I mostly use the Unity engine. I'm also exploring the Unreal Engine for MetaQuest, but now let's go to Unity. So if you click on Unity, even from here you can select which platform you want to learn more about. And now if I again put hand tracking, so now you can see enable hand tracking and all information is being given here. Let's say if I want to integrate mixed reality, so I can just go and see how to use the mixed reality kit, and the entire information is we can find here. Okay, so here is the mixed reality utility kit overview. Now if you want to go and see the API references, and this is the interesting part here. So see the various SDKs that they have, the core SDK, audio SDK, haptics, interaction SDK. So now the APIs you can find according to the SDK that you are using. Let's say we are using the core SDK and which version you are using. So by version also you can find out. So if you have a project which is running on some older version, you can select that version and then you will get all the classes here. So let's say if I want to learn more about the hand class, so or the OBR input class, so I will just put OBR input and it should search here. Okay, so you have here the OBR input, and from OBR input you will get all the essential information. Now just a quick tip here, how you can use AI in this, like not directly in this, but how you can use a documentation to get some information, like to understand it and write some code developed by AI. So you can just copy the link from here, and let's say if I open something like Perplexity, and I can put the link here, and let's say I ask it some question. What are some key methods? Or let's say we'll ask a specific question. What is the method to get input of let's say the right thumbstick? So you can ask any question you want, but I'm just, what is the method to get input of right thumbstick? And we'll just put this, and now let's say it will refer to the link, and it will study the link, and it will give us some information. So if you can see, it has directly find out to get input from the right thumbstick using the OBR input class in Unity. For MetaQuest, you can use the following method. So you can use vector2 right thumbstick input, and it has given the exact specific line of code that you want. And it also gives additional information like what are the various thumbstick input types, what are the alternative input types, what are the best practices. So you see, like if you know how to use AI smartly, you can speed up your development like nothing else, and it can be very fast. So you don't need to study the entire documentation because it's too long. You just need to ask the right questions, provide the right links, and you can get your answers. So this is the way you can find various APIs. Let's see another API, interaction SDK. It's also nice to just study the documentation, to just what we can say scrutinize the documentation to understand what are the various methods, what are the various classes that are available, and how we can use some class. So let's say you don't know how to use that class or what is the purpose of that class. So what we'll do is we will just okay, let's try to understand what is the purpose of a class using Perplexity. So if I take this mixed reality utility kit, so it has find spawn position. Okay, so what we'll do is we will just take this and go back to Perplexity, So I have the Perplexity Pro. If you have Perplexity Pro, it's great, but even in normal Perplexity, you can ask these questions. So if I create a new thread and I'll just put this, and I'll ask the link, what is the purpose of this class, and how can I use its methods in my mixed reality project? That's a very innocent question that I'm going to ask. So let's see what does it answer. It takes some time, but yeah, now it's given the proper answer. So the find spawn positions class is a component in Meta's mixed reality utility kit designed to help developers spawn objects in mixed reality environments. Its primary purpose is to automatically find suitable positions to place objects within a virtual or augmented space. So now you might have been thinking like, how easy does AI makes learning any kind of software documentation, which earlier was not like, I would say, very difficult, but it used to take some time to comprehend, because generally in API references you just find these data fields or these properties and then just these methods, but you don't know what these methods are. But tools like Perplexity, tools like ChatGPT, what they do is they have some background context, they have some data on other projects which they can use to relate to the link that we are providing. It understands it's a meta project, it's a meta quest project, and they know the context in which the question is being asked. So that saves you a lot of time. So if you see it has provided the key features and usage, like the spawn locations where you can spawn, the customization options. So if you see individual, what we can say, properties like spawn location or the scene labels. So you can see labels, allows filtering of spawn locations based on scene labels. And then it is also given some code on how to start something, and it is also giving like some relevant questions that you might ask. So again, this is not a Perplexity tutorial, it's just most of you might have been knowing Perplexity, but let's go back to the documentation. But I'm just trying to explain how you can use the documentation for better understanding how to build your mixed reality projects. Then you have to distribute. Now when you have your app ready, or when you want to know how I can distribute the app, this is where you can find more information, like how to prepare the app, how to create the product details page, and then what are the best practices for data security, how to get your app reviewed. For MetaQuest, what are the, what we can say, various packaging guidelines for it. So everything you can find here. And so basically these are actually the core 4 important sections: design, develop, API references, and distribute, where you can find additional information. And then you have the developer blog, where you will occasionally find some updates about the SDKs, like Meta Avatars SDK. This is the new SDK that is being launched. Then what happened at Meta Connect, or maybe some developer stories. So you can find it all here. And finally, there is support for anything more that is required. So yeah, that's all in this video that I wanted to cover. I just wanted to show like how you can use the Meta's new documentation, how you can use the documentation smartly using tools like Perplexity and ChatGPT, and just expedite your development process. So yeah, that was it. Thank you. Bye.